Coming up in the morning edition, the House of Assembly passes the Crime Intelligence Bill. Independence celebration set to be a big hit this year. And two little boys show their vocal talent. Welcome to the morning edition. I'm LaDawn Davis. Thanks for waking up to us this morning. Weather is the first thing on the agenda. Let's go to our chief meteorologist, Basil Dean, to see how things are shaping up weather-wise. Good morning, Basil.
Good morning, LaDawn. Well, it's a pretty dry morning, and we have just a few patchy clouds, as is depicted by our ZNS tower cam overlooking the harbor area there. And now taking you to our satellite picture to see what's happening on the broad front. We have that high pressure, which is now anchored across the Bahamas, and that's generating some brisk winds throughout the 700 islands. Outside of our studios, we have partly cloudy skies, temperatures 77 degrees, relative humidity 78%, easterly winds at 9 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,018.4 millibars, that's 30.07 inches, and it is steady. Temperatures around the islands this morning picking up some 77s in Marsh Harbor, Green Tokyo, all in Abaco, Freeport, Grand Bahama 77, the Berry Island 78, 79 degrees in Alistown, Bimini, in Harbor Island, Roxanne, Lutris 77, Alistown, Cat Island, that's 78, more 77s in Stanley Key and Kemp Space on Andros, Fresh Creek in Central Andros at 78 degrees, San Salvador 78, Room Key 78 degrees as well, Georgetown, Exuma 79, 78 in Ragged Island, Clownstown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay at 79, Ackland 79, also Matthewtown, Inagua, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 79 degrees. And your boating forecast for today. For all areas, winds northeast 15 to 20 knots, so caution flags are up for boaters throughout the islands. Wave heights 4 to 6 feet over the ocean. High tide, that will take place at 10:58 this morning, low tide at 4:58 this afternoon. That's going to do it for your first look at weather in the morning edition. Stay tuned. Your forecast for today tonight is still ahead.
Thanks a lot, Basil. Let's turn things over to Jimanita Swain, who is standing by with the Bahamas First traffic report.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Good morning, LaDawn, and good morning, Bahamas. We're coming to you live from Blue Hill Road, just across from the Naomi Blatch Primary School. Now, traffic has been a steady flow coming out of the south for much of the morning. Persons making their morning commute, whether headed to work or even just to drop their kids a little bit earlier to school. But of course, one of the concerns that traffic officials often have is persons leaving the scene of accidents for various reasons. So to talk about that issue is, of course, Sergeant Jerome Thompson of the Police Traffic Division. Good morning, Sergeant Thompson.
Good morning to you. Good morning, Bahamas.
Now, before we get into the issue at hand, are there any accidents or areas of concerns that persons need to be mindful of? Good morning.
There are no outstanding accidents at this time, but just at this juncture, we have an area of concern where persons traveling north and south of this intersection here. Sometimes the amount of traffic causes the junction to be blocked. We want to advise persons that once you see the potential to cause the traffic lanes to be blocked, you ought to stop to allow traffic to flow continuously. Even though you might have the green light, stop to allow traffic to flow continuously. Do not obstruct the traffic, because once you obstruct the traffic, you will be reported for causing obstruction or hindering the flow of traffic.
And that means you get a ticket.
Absolutely.
Now, one of the things, as we mentioned earlier, is, of course, persons, when an accident occurs, they don't often stay on the scene. Sometimes it could be fright or shock, depending on the nature of the accident or the crash, or it could be any number of reasons. But what are some of the reasons that you would see in your experience has led to persons leaving the scene of accidents?
Well, some of the reasons I was saying, like you mentioned, persons would be panic struck. Other reasons is that sometimes persons, the immigration status might be an issue for them, and they would flee the scene of an accident. We have several vehicles at our station where persons just would have flee the vehicle and left the vehicle abandoned and never to return for those vehicles. So immigration status is one of those reasons. Some persons might be fleeing the scene of a previous crash, and also some persons might be driving with someone other than their spouse, and they don't want to be seen on a crash scene or the one places to see them, so they would flee for that reason. And the number one reason in my mind is that some persons would flee the scene of a crash because they don't have a driver's license or adequate insurance.
Well, thank you so much. That is, of course, Sergeant Jerome Thompson, just reminding us some of the reasons why people leave accident sites. But, of course, if you are involved in an accident, you should not leave the scene, and also contact a police officer so that they can assist you at that time. But back to you in studio, LaDawn.
Thanks a lot, Jimonita. Now on to our top story this morning. The National Crime Intelligence Bill 2019 was passed in the House of Assembly last evening, presented by Minister of National Security and Member of Parliament from Mount Moriah, the Honorable Marvin Dames. The bill is set to establish a heightened level of crime watch and monitoring specific to national threats, and is equipped with a director and department known as NCIA. Dames says despite opposition, the bill will serve to improve overall national security and is in line with constitutional guidelines. He was responding to claims in the House that the bill is too similar to a spy agency and is vulnerable to political exploitation.
This whole notion of us creating a unit who will go all over the world without the express permission of any country and do work is nonsense. And we should not mislead the Bahamian people into thinking that. That's only on television.
A convict serving 6 decades behind bars for a double murder and kidnapping will have to wait a bit longer for his appeal against sentence and conviction to be heard. You may recall that Zintward Duncans was sentenced to 60 years behind bars after jurors convicted him of killing and kidnapping immigration officer Shane Gardner and his girlfriend Tishka Brainin on Andros back in December of 2013. Evidence revealed that Duncans was the mastermind behind a plot to rob Gardner and his girlfriend of gambling winnings. Prosecutors initially sought the death penalty for Duncans and his co-accused James Johnson, who was sentenced to 55 years behind bars for his role in the incident on Wednesday. The hearing was pushed back to September 3rd. Now, after Duncans' attorney informed the court that they needed more time to read the transcripts in that case, Duncans remains behind bars. The country is just 2 months shy of celebrating its 46th birthday, and a number of activities are planned to mark the momentous occasion. Chairman of the Independence Committee, Mark Humes, revealed to ZNS News on Tuesday some of the events on the Independence calendar.
You'll have the Pride Day Festival. That's going to get things started, the Beat Retreat. That's coming back as a staple. Clifford Park, the ecumenical service, the cultural show, the inspection. That's a staple. Some of the other ones I don't want to talk about until the press conference, but all I say to the Bahamian people is stay tuned. We have some exciting sponsors that are coming along with us this year. That's going to just help to make this independence celebration a lot more exciting and a lot more engaging for the Bahamian public.
Mrs. Riviana Smith is this year's National Mother of the Year. The announcement coming from the president of the National Mothers Club, Eunice Dean, who says every year the organization seeks to honor a special mother for exceptional work in social or community development. Dean says the organization has been in existence since 1928 and is focused on assisting the less fortunate within the community, among other selfless duties.
We are now celebrating 91 years. 2 Sundays ago, May 5th, we named the Mother of the Year, the National Mother of the Year. The motto is charity, love, and service. The purpose of the Mothers Club is to help the less fortunate in the community.
Stay close. We've got more news right after this. You're watching The Morning Edition.
Look, it's simple. Fidelity can consolidate all your bills with their debt consolidation loan. Give you 1 monthly payment and money in your pocket.
So let me get this straight, Miss Financial Coach. You say something about cash in my pocket?
Yes.
And a savings plan with 5% interest? Wow, finally! A bank that's looking out for me. What you want me to sign?
That's not all. We also offer competitive interest rates and free financial coaching.
That's right, LD. You ain't hear me. Where do I sign?
My fellow Bahamians, I'm Mario Nuri, inviting you to A Familiar Walk, our 2019 Hurricane Preparedness Program. We're delighted to have Ms. Carolyn Turnquest, Director General of the Bahamas Red Cross, Captain Stephen Russell, Director of NEMA, and meteorologist Wayne Neely. We welcome you to be a part of our journey as we continue working together for a weather-ready Bahamas. Do join us.
What you cooking? Something good. Welcome, Bahamas, to What You Cooking. Are you ready to shop for the What You Cooking show today? Something good.
We're going to make a sweet potato pancake. And you start with a breakfast that's filled with fiber, protein. Then you get those nutrients that will carry you throughout the day.
What you cooking? Something good.
I watch it because it keeps me informed of what's happening in my nation's capital, and it gives me a touch of the Bahamian life here while I'm on the island of Abaco.
It's Lupus Awareness Month, and all month long, ZNS News has been sharing the survival stories of persons battling this systematic autoimmune disease that attacks tissues and organs. This morning, we feature a teenager who was diagnosed with lupus many years ago and is in dire need of a kidney transplant to get that second lease on life. She travels to the United States today with her mother, hoping to get on that wish list. Here's her story.
It's not easy. It's very hard to deal with.
Battling lupus for 6 years has taken a toll on the mind and body of 19-year-old BTVI student Janelle Humes. The autoimmune disease attacked her kidneys, left her on dialysis treatments, her feet swollen, and transformed the pigmentation of her skin. The once active teenager says lupus has stifled her mobility in so many ways.
I was a dancer, but I don't really dance no more like that or whatever. I used to do gymnastics and everything. I used to do ballet and stuff like that. I used to go to school and stuff like that. I used to go with my friends, but sometimes I can't even do that.
Janelle spent months in hospitals locally and abroad fighting infections and complications of lupus. Janelle says she is hoping for better results.
I do dialysis 5 times a day, 6, 10, 2, 6 again, and then 10 again. Trying to get GoFundMe going and just trying to get a kidney transplant because I don't really want to stay on dialysis all my life.
Janelle's mother, Sharia Newble, says she wishes sometimes that she can take some of the pain that her daughter has to deal with during her consistent lupus flares.
When you see your child in pain and there's nothing you can do, how is it that, you don't know what to do? How can I help her? How can I help her with this pain? Okay, I want the best, but you're not. And me, right now, don't have the funds, don't have what she needs to have this healthy life. So I would ask anyone, whoever can donate, please help us.
Now, with no medical insurance, Sharia and Janelle are asking for the public's help in making monetary donations to her Commonwealth Bank account number 717-000-9000 or Janelle Humes' GoFundMe page. Best of luck to you, Janelle. Last weekend, the Bahamas Humane Society held an adopt-a-thon to provide the many adult cats and dogs at the shelter with a new home. For President of the Bahamas Humane Society, Kim Arana, the exercise is considered a success. But just as quickly as the animals moved out, others moved in. Arana explains.
We adopted out 101 animals for the adopt-a-thon. We had a lot more than 100. We had over 300 animals looking for homes. We adopted out 101 adult animals. However, rather sadly, 36 other animals have subsequently been surrendered to the shelter in the last 3 days. So the sooner that they go out, then people bring us other ones in. But still, it was a great success, and we want to thank the general public for coming.
There are two young boys who are making waves using their God-given talents singing. Our Charles Fisher reports.
Their voices are way beyond their years. 9-year-old Cole Carey attends Yellow Elder Primary.
Formed against me shall prosper.
10-year-old David Cox Jr. from Eva Hilton Primary.
Once I had a girl, she called me Belle. Left me in the cold pouring rain.
As for where the young Carey got his talent from?
My mommy and, well, my family actually.
How did you start to sing? When did you know you were to sing?
I believe my mommy told me she discovered I could talk when I was 11 months old. She discovered I could sing too, so. Well, my mommy didn't really tell me all about that, but I discovered I could sing. I sing in church.
Cox is a real crowd pleaser. As for how he was discovered,
my grade 1 teacher, and when I was young, I used to sing like the ABC all the time.
And he has performed for some of the country's best.
At Government House, I perform in Cat Island before. I feel excited and I feel happy.
Couldn't let the two go without getting a duet.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. See me walking through that open door. I believe I can fly.
These two are really going places with those harmonic voices. For the ZNS News Network, I'm Charles Fisher.
For sure, so that was absolutely some great singing.
These two young boys are going to break a lot of young girls' hearts.
I'm sure they're going to do that.
Pretty good story yesterday. Also, that story with Lupus, very good story. Hopefully, she can get all the help and people watch the morning edition so we can get some calls in to help those persons. Well, coming up in sports, we're going to introduce you to two young female girls. They're going overseas to play rugby, and also we're going to get more on the National Primary Track and Field Championships.
That and more ahead in sports.
There's nothing quiet, subtle, or easy about lupus. Symptoms of this chronic autoimmune disease are hard to ignore. Lupus attacks healthy body tissues and organs with a vengeance. Yet more than 5 million people worldwide live with lupus and often go unnoticed. In the Bahamas, many lupus patients suffer in silence, living with severe joint pain, fatigue, fever, and major organ failure. Lupus is also hard to diagnose. Patients often feel unheard and alone. Local support group Lupus 242 is on a mission to break the silence surrounding lupus, and we need your help. Visit lupus242.org, call 525-9967, or follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Lupus242.
This message has been brought to you by Lupus 242 in partnership with Alive, in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
1540 AM, 104.5 FM plays all the Bahamian hits.
Just call my name, 'cause love is patient and understanding.
All the hits, one station. The Bahamas is moving to the music. Music that makes you feel good.
The scent of your skin is intoxicating.
Our dream
home of the #1 Bahamian music beat, 1540 AM, 104.5 FM, the People Station.
Our marine resources were once considered inexhaustible. Conch and reef fish like grouper were abundant everywhere, and it seemed as if the lobster catch would rise forever. But today, there is a downward trend that affects everyone. Researchers say we can reverse the trend by protecting more marine habitats. And the good news is that most Bahamians strongly support efforts to halt further decline. Tripling the size of our network of marine parks will mean more fish and conch for everyone, now and for the future, as well as more recreational and ecotourism opportunities. Today, only 10% of our waters are protected. Surveys show that most Bahamians consider protection of our marine environment to be a top national priority. More protection means more benefits for everyone, now and in the future. It's a win-win-win strategy for the economy, for Bahamians, and for nature. Protect our sea, protect our way of life, protect the Bahamas. See the future. Visit Bahamas Protected on Facebook to learn more about marine protected areas.
It's the OT with yours truly, Charles Fisher.
Buddy Hield and the Kings have their...
Buddy Hield seemed to be having the best season of his career. He had 32 points the other night. It was a bit disappointing, Shawnee Miller not winning the IAAF World Female Athlete of the Year. The high school rankings will soon be out. Tabernacle, the defending champion, CC Sweeting, they are always there. Who will it be this year? Each Monday on 1540 AM and 104.5 FM, it's the OT with yours truly, Charles Fisher. Good morning, it's time to get started. The 35th Frank Pancho-Raming Primary School Track and Field Championships underway at the Thomas A. Robertson Stadium. Over 1,200 youngsters from 60 schools taking part, 34 of which are from the Family Islands. Director of Sports, Timothy Munnings, praising the success of the long-running meet.
It was originally called, for those of you old enough to remember, the Ovaltine Track and Field Meet. But because of the contribution of a particular person and their commitment and devotion to the development of persons like yourselves, the young people, this event was renamed the Frank Pancho-Raming Track and Field Championship. This event will give you the opportunity to demonstrate the abilities that you have. Some of you are natural athletes, some are not. When I was young like you, I was not a natural athlete, but it took a lot of hard work. So I want to encourage all of you that if you, when you run, you fall down, and you'll hear this through your school things, get back up, never give up.
The meet continues at 9 o'clock this morning. Now, two Bahamians being afforded the opportunity of a lifetime to further their development in the sport of rugby. We get that story this morning from Kelsey Johnson.
From the track to the field, only difference is it's a whole new game for the country's newest professional athletes. Ivany Kemp hung up her sprints after the 2012 Olympic Games, while Carlene Johnson was one of the up-and-coming sprinters for the Bahamas, having competed on the junior level at the Carifta and Junior CAC Games. The two young ladies were selected to play with the DC Furies, a professional team based in Washington, D.C.
I've been doing track and field since 2007 and wanted something different. And rugby is not really known, at least the women's team is not really known in the Bahamas. And like I said, I want to be one of the first person to actually put it on the map.
It feels amazing to be chosen to play professional rugby, to be able to represent my country and to make the people proud.
Members of the women's national rugby team went through a series of drills put on by coach Matthew Williams, who's been in town for more than 5 weeks scouting. Williams believes that Kemp and Johnson were a perfect fit for the DC Furies, and their skill sets are a bonus for his team.
Carly, she was absolutely exceptional. Physical, you can tell she's played rugby at quite a good level. Ivy, obviously, being involved in the Olympics, 110-metre hurdles, we're not lacking on speed. Obviously, her rugby is still quite new and quite fresh, but her attitude, her kind of behaviour and everything around the way she held herself was really important.
Johnson and Kemp both have their work cut out for them, and they are ready.
We deserve it. It wasn't just handed to us. We worked extremely hard to get here, so I feel, hey, we're going to go out there and do our best.
It's going to be more advanced and more quicker because being back home, we don't we don't get to play that much.
And because the time frame is short, Williams said it won't be easy.
They'll come in camp with me now starting in June. They'll come over for a week and they'll work really, really hard in that week is our first qualifier. Then they'll come back here and then Kevin will have them play in the kind of Caribbean Championship over in Grand Cayman. And then they'll come back to me in July for what is 5 weeks, and that will be then qualifying 2, qualifying 3. If we qualify then for Nationals, we'll be going to Nationals on I think it's the 10th and 12th of August.
Williams noted this is just the beginning and believes that more Bahamian females will be awarded contracts from his squad as well as other professional teams. Kelsey Johnson, ZNS Total Sports.
Well, thanks a lot, Kelsey. That's a wrap on sports. Much more coming up after this break.
As an artist, I travel all over the world and I find inspiration all around me. From the people and especially the environment. I love the Bahamas with all its natural beauty. From Abaco in the north to Inagua in the south and all the wonderful and colorful islands in between. But we must all do our part to keep the Bahamas healthy and clean, now and for the future generations. That's why I want you to find a little time to do your part. I'm doing my part because I care. Do you?
In our final look at weather, high pressure generating brisk winds across the 700 islands, and that will be with us right through the weekend. Our forecast for today calls for mostly sunny, breezy, and quite pleasant with your high temperature getting up to 84 degrees. Tonight we're looking at patchy clouds, breezy and mild, low temperature around 75 degrees, and extended weather forecast, lots of sunshine and breezy right through Sunday. Thereafter the winds will die down on Monday heading into the early part of next week, so some pretty nice weather over the next 7 days. So
thanks a lot, Basil. That's a wrap for us today. Make sure to join us right here tomorrow at 7 a.m. for more Morning Edition. Once again, I'm LaDawn Davis. Have a great day, everyone.
Listen to your mama. Listen to your daddy. Your mama sent you to Sunday school so you could learn the golden rule. Your daddy take you where he wanna go, singing run your mama can see the crow. You gotta listen to your mama. You gotta listen to your daddy. Listen to your mama. Listen to your daddy. Your daddy sent you to school one day. You didn't do what the teacher say. Your mama spank you and you come home.